And I'd gone to seminars and I'd seen motivational speakers, which by the way, I'm not. I like to consider myself more of an inspirational speaker. We're in New Jersey. I can motivate you to do anything I want with $100. Right? And that will go for about a day. But if I inspire you, you could inspire a nation. You could inspire a generation. Thank you very much, Roy. Appreciate it. Buenos días, los quiero saludar. Bienvenidos a New Jersey. Hoy vamos a hablar de actitud. You have to understand, we're pressed for time and they asked me to go fast, so I had to speak Spanish, right? You guys watch the Spanish station? How fast do they speak? Number 4, believe that you can. It's in your head way before it's in your wallet. How's that saying go? Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. What determines great customer service? Your ability to listen, your ability to respond, and your attitude. Half of your success is based on your attitude. And you have to start now. You have to work at it every day. Because again, you can't get to a yes attitude by skipping a positive attitude. And positive doesn't happen instantly. Only negative does. Here's my house during the earthquake that I mentioned in 1976. I was 6 years old. 3 o'clock in the morning, over 20,000 people died. It really breaks my heart to hear what's happening in Haiti and in Chile. I've lived it. I know what that feels like. I remember the Chinook helicopters coming in, and we were homeless for 8 months, on the street, depending on the Red Cross. That is why I am so grateful to this nation, before I even put foot here. But how do you speak to a positive attitude? If you look right there, that's my dad. 2 days after the earthquake, he's happy. Hey, they're taking a picture. And I told my dad, I'm like, Papá, ¿qué pasó? Se nos cayó la casa. House fell down. And he says to me, yeah, mijo, but we're all alive. I have 5 brothers and sisters. And we were inside at 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's out on the street. Yeah, we all got out. It's like, we'll build a bigger house, a better house. Has nothing to do with what happens to you. It's how you react. This is my buddy Joe that we talked about earlier. And for those of you who are not from New Jersey, that's our former governor, Christy Whitman. Joe grew up in Linden, and he used to always come over to my house because I used to practice my English with him. Believe it or not, English is my second language. Spanish is my first. So I used to practice my English with him. He would come over to my house and practice his Spanish with my mom and with me, and I used to interpret for him. So we had great friendship going up. For years, we were great friends, but he never invited me to his house. I was like, that's weird. But I didn't think much of it. About 5 years later, we were like 15. Finally, he invites me to his house one day. And we go into his house, and we walk in, and his parents are sitting there watching TV. And he goes up to him, and he starts to sign. And he goes, this is my friend Eddy. And I was like, whoa, like your parents are deaf? They were deaf. I never knew. He never spoke about it. A minute later, we go in the kitchen, and we go to get something to drink. And I said to him, Joe, you never told me, I'm whispering, right? Like they could hear me. I said, Joe, you never told me your parents are deaf. And I said, how long have they been deaf? And his father in the other room says to me, he goes, all my life. All my life. And I'm standing there and I look at him and I look at Joe and I'm like, oh, I thought you said he was deaf. And Joe goes, yeah, but he can read your lips. I was like, oh, got it. Got it. At 15, in that moment, it was just a rush. And I figured it out. 2 things happened to me that day that changed my life. Number 1, I told Joe, you will never interpret for me again. And that day, I started to learn how to sign because I didn't like being on the other side. Yes, you're very happy. I did not like to have to depend on him. But number 2, which was the most important thing of all, was that in that instant, I realized that we just hear with our ears, but we listen with our eyes and with our mind and with our heart. It took a deaf person somebody who had never heard a sound, teach me how to listen. I got it. Where is it? There he is. Right? So we're talking about attitude. And I'd gone to seminars and I'd seen motivational speakers, which, by the way, I'm not. I like to consider myself more of an inspirational speaker.